Hi, my darlings. I'm Sophie Darling, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we are reacting to episode 11 of series 2 of Apothecary Diaries. And last episode was a bit of a weird one. It was kind of hard to decipher if the person running the stories was actually a ghost or not, or whether she was just reciting a tale that she herself has experienced, especially when she was like, I'm so close, or I was so close, indicating that she may be looking to get revenge somehow for her entrapment in the rear palace. But why she would take it out on innocent servants, I don't necessarily know, but she's either a figment of their imagination or she's playing on this ghostly theme because the last person to run it had passed away and somebody did take over. So she's either playing on this by emphasizing that she could be a ghost and then disappearing, or they did see a ghost, or it is also someone who experienced a similar situation in that she was also used and trapped here by the previous emperor. So it's not entirely sure. Don't quite know what on earth is going on, but it's definitely building to be a very interesting season. We have Shishway, whose name I will never be able to get right. I keep trying to pronounce it and it's wrong every single time, who is very evidently Lolan. So is Lolan the real name or is Shushwei the real name? Every time I try to say it, it comes out sounding like sushi, and I'm like, that's not how you say it. I don't think that's how you say it. And I can't unhear sushi in my head. So I'm trying to like make sure it's clear what I'm saying without Googling pronunciations. And even though people have written pronunciations out for me, I still struggle to make the sounds because I need to hear it in order to understand it. And it's hard to hear in the show because the name will come up, but it's hard to distinguish how they're pronouncing the name because obviously it's a lengthy sentence and it's hard to isolate that one word. It's probably not going to be correct, but I'm also not a native Japanese speaker. I'm also not a native Chinese speaker. I only speak English, and in my ignorance, I unfortunately do not know how to pronounce certain names or how the alphabets in these languages work to be able to make the pronunciation. I have been doing some deep dives into Chinese history lately, which has been really fun. And I used to play Dynasty Warriors as a kid on the PlayStation 2. Didn't actually realize that this was based on actual Chinese history. I just thought it was really, really cool and I loved the characters. But there is a character in Dynasty Warriors who I would have called Cao Cao, and it's spelled Cao. It's actually Tao Tao, but I never would have known that. I instantly in my head was like, Cao Cao. It's not Cao Cao, it's Tao Tao. I always lean towards like Liu Bei and Sun Shi. Those were kind of the characters that I liked to play because they had the cute girls in their team. So yeah, that's been quite a fascinating one, but also made me realize I don't actually understand the alphabets and how certain letters are pronounced differently. I've gone on a bit of a tangent, but yeah. I'm not going to get the names correct, and I'm trying. I am doing my best, but I can only do as much as I'm doing because I don't want to Google stuff. Because if I Google stuff, I run into the realm of getting spoiled, and I don't want to get spoiled. So you're going to have to just kind of put up with Shishway and Suri's names not being technically correct. I think I was calling Suri Surreal for like series one, so like cereal, but it wasn't cereal. It's just how it looks to me on the screen, how it would be pronounced. But I think it's more along the lines of Suri, but it's probably not correct still because again, not a native speaker. I do struggle. I'm also hearing impaired. That doesn't help things, but I'm trying. I am doing my best, okay? Which is the real name? It's either Lolan or it's Shishwei. I'm not sure, but they are definitely the same person because even Mau Mau's beginning to pick up that there's some similarities, that she's recognizing something in her that she's seen before, and what she's seen before is the same expression that Lolan showed in series 1 when Mao Mao appeared to run that sex education class for the consorts. Her story about the monk and then the wife and the husband bickering and then the husband dies. I think she eats the husband and then what's left behind is like bug wings. I don't know if that's gonna have relevance, if there's like a deeper meaning to it, or if it is just like a weird, creepy ass story that she is giving to us and it's related to bugs because she's obsessed with bugs, but it may not actually have a deeper meaning to it. It's more the fact that every story that we've heard kind of has like significance. It's based on like rumor and gossip, and it's like how Mao Mao's story isn't really a ghost story, it's more like a true crime story, like grave robbing and digging up corpses and, you know, cutting them up and things like that. So, you know, it was more true crime, but factual is something that she knows actually happened, which makes it all the weirder. But I knew she was a true crime girly, just like me. But it's really beginning to ramp up. Last episode, we also ended with Jinshi looking quite stoic and serious about something, but we'll most likely find out in this episode what that relates to. So without further ado, we're going to get into episode 11. Oh, he's thinking about Mao Mao and what everyone's been warning him about. That they approve of Mao Mao, essentially. What's happening tomorrow? Whoa, 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 whoa. He's finally going to tell her because he doesn't want to keep any more secrets from her because everyone approves of this relationship dynamic. The Emperor approves of it. His mother, grandmother, it's not his mother, approves of it. They want them to be happy. I think if he asked to have Mao Mao, he would get Mao Mao, but he would never just ask the Emperor for her. She would need to consent herself, and the only way that she could consent is if she truly knew who he was. She knows. She knows. She's just refusing to admit it because she doesn't want to get in trouble, because she understands the power imbalance between them. Because Jinshi is far above her in terms of rank and responsibility, and she is just, in her eyes, not that important, a servant that can be discarded at whim. So she doesn't want to get involved in anything that could be potentially dangerous. But I think this season's been alluding to the fact that Mao Mao is going to find herself in the middle of something that she doesn't anticipate, because there's been a few little subtle hints that Mao Mao could be in danger because of her closeness to Jinshi. And we can read his grandmother's words as her approving of Mao Mao, but I think you could also read it in relation to the fact that somebody could use Mao Mao as a way to get to him because she is his favorite. It's being picked up on not just by the Emperor and the Empress Dowager, but by other people too. If they're seeing it, then other people have already come to that same conclusion. So the fact that she's saying to him, oh, if you have a favorite, you best hide her before someone does it for you, it also is alluding to the fact that somebody could use Mao Mao as a way to lure Jinshi to them, because he's not going to see anything happen to her. He would risk everything for her. So I think it's sort of like a double-edged sword. It's a comment that's meant to be, I approve of Mao Mao and I approve of your love and care for her, but it's also a warning. Like his toys could be taken away because of the sentimental attachment that he got to them. They're showing him how dangerous sentimental attachment can be. If he makes his favorites known, his favorites become a target. That is what they were trying to drum into him as a child. He has a favorite, it's taken away from him, he emotionally lashes out and he reacts. They're trying to desensitize that in him. They're trying to get him to hide his favorites, so they can't distinguish what it is, so they can't emotionally harm him in turn. They can't get to him. And it's a lesson he hasn't quite learned because he's shown clear love and care for Mao Mao. Everyone's picking up on it. I think she's going to be in danger at some point. There's also the fact that in her conversation with one of the ladies in waiting in a previous episode of this season, she was warning Mao Mao. I cannot remember her name, but she's the one with like the brownish hair, and then they slept in the same bed after the ghost stories. They went together, they're quite close. She said to Mao Mao to be careful because if she steps a foot out of line, potentially no one could really protect her, and that she could get herself in trouble because she's so intent on knowing what's going on around her, that she gets involved in things that necessarily she shouldn't get involved in. Because Mamo's very like, I'm not getting involved because I don't want to know, but then she does end up getting involved, and she kind of recognizes that it could put Mao Mao in danger. So there was that hint. Then there's the hint from the Empress Dowager, which again can be read both ways. But I think it is alluding to Mao Mao potentially being at risk at some point in this series, which could also provide dramatic tension. Because Mao Mao's been kidnapped once before, so who's to say that Mao Mao couldn't be kidnapped again? Because if you want to get to Jinshi, kidnap Mao Mao. That's the way to lure him out, because he's not going to see her in harm's way. We know that for a fact. I digress. The fact that he clearly wants to be with her, and the only way that he can be with her is by telling her the truth and going on this expedition as a way to do so, shows just how much he values Mao Mao. That if there is to be a romantic relationship between them, if he is to pursue her romantically, she needs to be fully aware of his status, his position, and consent to it. He's not going to do anything that would potentially make Mao Mao uncomfortable or make her feel like she's unprepared for what it means to be with Jinshi. He also doesn't quite know her romantic feelings towards him, but he is sick of feeling like he's betraying her. He's sick of feeling as if Mao Mao doesn't know the truth, but Mao Mao does know the truth. She's just not admitting it to herself because she doesn't want to get in trouble by knowing the truth and being too involved. But she knows. She has to know at this point. We know that she knows. She's just playing ignorant. It's to keep herself safe. It's a protective act. But Jinshi doesn't know that because Jinshi thinks that she doesn't know. Regardless, he would still need the Emperor's approval because Jinshi is the heir. He can't just marry anyone or take anyone in as a concubine without the Emperor's approval. So the fact that the Emperor does approve means that he knows he could pursue Mao Mao if he wants to pursue her, but he needs her to know the truth before he can do so. Where's this expedition? What are they going on? Is that why he was looking stressed? Not because of the expedition, because he's worried how Mao Mao will react, if Mao Mao will treat him differently, if she'll pull away and distance herself once she knows that he is the crown prince and heir to the throne.
失礼します。玉葉様、何かご用でしょうか。
Oh, her belly!
このものを数日返していただきたいと思いまして。
返して？
断れぬ筋から狩りに誘われまして。
断れぬ筋？
師匠様のお誘いです。
大変ね、お付き合いも。
Oh no!
うちのマオマオを借りたい。
Lowland's dad.
ええ、返していただければと。
マオマオじゃなくてもいいんじゃない？うちには他にもいい子がいるわよ。
They're having a little bantering match back and forth. She's staking her claim on Mao Mao. She's saying, oh, so you want to borrow Mao Mao? And he's like, no, I want her returned. So they're both bartering for claim over her because Goku is trying to say, I have other girls, you can take them. Why do you need to borrow Mao Mao? Because Mao Mao's mine. And she's like, no, she's on loan here. I'm asking her to be returned to me to my service. Thank you very much. It is so funny because everyone understands what's going on, and Mama's just like, oh, for God's sake, guys, come on, get over it by now.
さっきからその娘としか言わないのね。
それが
Could
無
be
理か
any girl.
あなたはマオマオのことをなんて呼んでるの？
私はシャオマオと。
じゃあ、あなたはマオマオのことをなんて呼んでるの？
My love.
ああ、そういや一度も名前を呼ばれたことないな。別
Oh, look at him. He's
なんで
so
ジン様がそわ
nervous.
そわしてるんだ？玉葉様の許可が下りたのは30分後のことだっ
Her
た。
show is on. She has to make him beg. She enjoys the tension. She knows how much Jinshi and Mao Mao like each other.
リーという国名はその一文字で建国の物語を表している。草の下に3つの刀。草は花。帝の先祖である王母を指し、その下の3つの刀は王母を助けた3人の武人を示す。聞いてるのか？
Oh, I love the flowers in her
これ
hair.
から行く場所の説明をしてやってるんだぞ。ジンシ様を狩りに誘った師匠殿の一族が治めている土地だ。
The one that's vying for power.
さすがに皇帝は来なかったが、そうそうたる顔ぶれらしい。父上ね。馬仙様はガオシュン様の息子らしい。
Obviously.
今回、ジン様とは別の賓客として招かれているガオシュン様の代わりに付き人をするという。
He's also not a eunuch.
標高が高く涼しいこの場所を
It's
先帝
beautiful.
は避暑地として毎年訪れていたという。今の帝になってから皇族は訪れていないが、
I wonder if he's taken that as a snub, because obviously the previous emperor used to visit here a lot. But I think that's because of his mother, because his mother, the Empress Dowager, had a favorite, which was him. He was her favorite, and he rules these lands. So they obviously visited a lot because she liked him. They were close. So her son would come there. But the current emperor doesn't really care for him, doesn't smile around him, doesn't really seem to want to associate with him, almost as if he suspects that he's out to get more power and more authority and more control, and is using his daughter as a way to do that. I still think he is heavily involved in this plot, especially because I think he is the man that met with Eileen. I get confused between the two, but the one with the blue jewels, the blonde hair, blue jewels, the shyer one. Whereas Isla, I think, is the one with the red jewels, and she's the more aggressive of the two, the more straightforward, straight shooting one. So I think potentially he could feel snubbed, feel slighted, and this could also form part of his reason for wanting revenge against the emperor and the emperor's dynasty, that he feels perhaps he could do a better job.
あれは頭巾。美しすぎるから遠出をする際に覆面が必要なのか。
ここでは何とお呼びすれば？
室内ではいつも通りでいい。外では光線と。
Is he pretending to be someone else, or is that actually his real name? But he's hiding his face and no one knows his true identity. But he's here as the prince, isn't he?
本来はもう少し差がつきそうな間柄だが。
マーの一族は代々光線様の一族にお仕えする。胸が同じなのは当然だ。父上、どういうことですか？
He's like, could you just tell her the truth already? Jinshi, you can't hide it forever.
我のことは何一つ知らない。
He's like, this makes so much more sense.
しかし、いくらなんでも。
何をやっているのだ？とりあえず荷物の片付けでもするか。
So does no one know the identity of the crown prince, because he always wears a mask and he's seen as being weak and sickly?
とりあえず夕げの毒味をしてみろ。
But she's here to keep him safe.
副菜からデザートに至るまで。なんというか、精のつきそうなものばかりですね。
わかっただろう。
Are they aphrodisiacs?
食べないのですか？毒ではありませんが。
毒でなくても食うものだよね。
Invigorating.
美味しいですよ。すっぽん以外も美味しいと思いますけど、本当に食べなくてよろしいのですか？
食べていいのか？
ほう、もともとジンス様のお食事です。
本当にいいのか？
Oh, he's so nervous.
美味です。
それはよかった。
ただ、
ただ
What the f-
なぜこの娘は平気なのです？
It is an
なぜと言われ
aphrodisiac,
ましても
isn't it?
そういう体質ですから。
失礼いたします。私は部屋に。
お若いとは大変である。
Oh, bless
おっ
him.
しゃるなら。
明日は狩りか。つがなく終わるといいけど。
I'm worried that somebody is going to try and target using the hunt. Oh, it was an accident.
ここであの方には死んでもらう。
Fuck's sake. They couldn't get him in the palace, so now they're going to get him under the guise of an accident while hunting. Is she going to stumble on something that she shouldn't?
あどうしたんだこんなとこで。
ちょっとご
She
指
was
名があったのね。
invited.
ご指名で護衛に入ったんだけど、犬の面倒でも見てろ。
The fact that he's here means that
李
Jinshi
白様も
trusts him to be
指名を受けた
loyal.
のはいいが、地方出身のみ。
Jinshi's only invited the people most loyal to him.
最近どんどん出世しているようだが、その分風当たりは強くなる。口笛下手ですね。
黙らっしゃい。
He's trying.
賢いですね。
だろ？場合によっちゃ何里離れてもやってくる
Oh,
らしい
he's
わ。
so cute.
犬が犬を撫でてる。
Oh, she's so mean to him sometimes.
こんな暑苦しいのにずっと覆面をつけて料理にも手をつけ
Are
な
they
いつも
trying
り
to
か？
sweat him out so he will take it off?
どんなに怪しい覆面姿でも上座に座っていればこの中で一番の乗客ということなのだろ
Yeah, he's the prince.
う。いや、あのやたら外面のいい宦官があんなあからさまな態度を取るだろうか。
Oh, what was said?
この暑さのせいで。
Well, he's dehydrated. It's hot. He's gonna faint, isn't he?
これを外してください。
ダメだ。
Electrolytes?
周りには誰もいません。
誰か来るかもしれない。
Like, is that what it's meant to do? To, like, revitalize
それ
him?
が気になるなら見えないところへ行けばいいでしょう。
Ayo? Somewhere they won't be found?
早く持ってきた水を。
薬よ。お前に話したいことがある。俺は本当は
He can't bring himself. Whoa!
なんだ。
Fucking knew it. Knew it!
少し驚かせる。
Jesus Christ! More than a bit settling, Jinshi.
この高さならどうせ助からん。
Oh, they did survive. There's no way they didn't. Okay, it's CPR, but still.
50メートル近くある崖を飛び降りるとは無茶なことを。
It's life or death,
そうかと
though.
思いました。
うまく飛び降りれば溺れない限りそうそう死なない。
ええ、溺れない限り。
She's like, I can't swim, dude. I nearly did die.
なんだ。
Mamo.
見苦しい姿ですみませんが、このままだと風邪をひきますので、前掛けと腰布はやめとくか。
I guess.
金さんのあばら骨でも隠せるものは隠したい。
Oh my god.
自分でやる。お前のも貸せ。俺の方が力があるだろ
ほう。
Oh!
よかった。さっきより体調は良さそうだ。
What is happening?
ジン様、
う。 なんだ？
粗末なもので申し訳ありませんが、食していただけますか。おやつにしようと持ってきたものですが、今の人士様には塩が足りないようなので。
They're so cute.
覆面をつけたまま狩りに出て、食事も水も取らなければ体がおかしくなります。暑さと水分不足で頭が痛かったのではありませんか。
He's dehydrated. Oh my god. I'm gonna scream.
ているみたいですが、念のためにしようと。
This is too much. I'm gonna have a heart attack.
そういうことなら、お前も食え。
いただきます。
Oh my god, they're so cute.
あれは一体何だったのでしょうか。
フェイファだ。
Are you gonna tell her?
戦で使う火薬を使った武器だ。一回撃つごとに準備が必要になる。それが間を置かずに2発撃たれた。
一体誰に何を恨まれているんだ。人士様、ここから出る方法はご存知ですか。泳ぐ以外でですが。
奥の天井に穴がある。バセンなら知っているが、すぐに気づくかどうか。
They're gonna have to go deeper in.
一日中叫び続ければ誰かが気づくかもしれないが。
Oh, the dog.
何も。
Maybe she can summon the dog and the dog can go get them help.
お前が下になったら潰れるぞ。
しかし。
やれ。お前、もっと太ったらどうだ。
今言うことじゃないです。ぬるぬる
It's
して湿っている
slippy.
が、指を引っ掛ければ。
Is he gonna see up her dress? No. Maybe. I think she's gonna fall. I don't think she's gonna be able to get up.
なんだカエルか。
Mau Mau. The silly frog.
痛くない。
Oh. Oh, the hand placement.
失礼しました、人士様。
Oh my god, I can't. I can't. Oh my god, I'm kicking, I'm squealing. Oh my god. Oh. I know he was only giving her CPR, but we actually saw lip on lip action. I know he was bringing her back, but still. Oh my god, I think the frog is the biggest Mau Mau and Jinshi shipper, because if not for the frog, this wouldn't have happened. And he's pulling her tighter to him. What if she feels something that she shouldn't? And then she'll know he's not a eunuch. And he needs to tell her. He's like delaying the inevitable. He keeps trying to hold it back because he's so scared that it's going to create distance between them, that she's going to pull even further away from him. But because the assassination attempt on Junshi failed, it now seems very clear that they have lured him somewhere else under the guise of it being an accident, or of maybe assassinating him and hiding the body and it being like he just disappeared. What a mystery. The woods are scary. People go missing all the time, you know? So I think they're aware that they may not necessarily get the same chance of assassinating Jinshi that they did previously in series 1. So now they are trying a new ploy, which just signifies to me all the more that Lolan's dad is in on it, because it happens to be at Lolan's dad's estate. It happens to be when he's organized the hunt and invited the prince to attend and the current emperor has refused. It's why Jinshi's so scared to eat anything, because he's worried that he's going to get poisoned, or that it's going to be an aphrodisiac that's going to be used against him, or it's going to get him drunk, and if he's inebriated, he won't have his senses about him. He's struggling to get through this visit because he can't drink, he can't eat, he's sweating, I feel like the warmness is to try and sweat him out the mask, to reveal the face beneath, because they don't know what he looks like. They know he's the prince, obviously, but they don't know what he looks like because he exists behind closed doors. He is the weak, frail prince that nobody sees in person, bar the emperor and the Empress Dowager. Nobody knows what the prince looks like. So Jinshi is very clearly being sweated out of this mask, and it's intentional. I think Mama says that like there's ways to keep places cool in summer, but it's almost like they're trying to get Jinshi to either drink something that puts him in a compromising position, or to sweat him out of the mask so that he reveals his identity, which means he can't hide as Jinshi anymore because everyone would know his face. As Jinshi, he is safe. He is able to hide behind this facade, this persona, because no one knows what the prince looks like. But if that is revealed, he no longer has that persona to fall back on. He's no longer safe. He's always going to be a target. Jinshi offers him an opportunity to live a life without being contained within the palace, to be somewhat free to inhabit the world around him. Of course, he still has restrictions and duties and responsibilities, but he's not having to worry that people are constantly out to kill him, because the only time he's ever targeted is when he's actually conducting his role as the prince, aka in this hunt, but also when he was in the ceremony. But he was also behind like the beaded curtain. He had his back to everyone. He had the thing over, but he did reveal himself obviously when he carried Mao Mao out, which is why it was such a huge thing that he wasn't hiding away, because he wasn't ashamed of who he was saving. He wasn't ashamed of being seen with Mao Mao. He wasn't willing to risk her life to hide his identity. But it makes sense as to why he wants Mao Mao here, because obviously Mao Mao is here as a poison taster, but also she's immune to aphrodisiacs because she eats them for fun as a snack. Like, she's built up the tolerance to it. So she also will be here to test for that too. I'm so excited for the next episode though. I can't wait for the next episode. My heart cannot take it. This little fan service is everything and more. And the fact that we're like not even midway through. Are we midway through? Are there 24 episodes of series 2 as well? Maybe we are halfway, and this is that little like halfway moment, because I think it's similar where like series 3, the first half is October, but then the second half is like 2027, early 2027, so that it might be similar that they left this as like the cliffhanger for you to watch the next half of the season when it came back. I'm quite lucky in that I don't have to wait. I can watch the next episode. I'm not going to do it today. I will be doing it on Sunday, but oh, I'm so happy. I love them so much. Usually I find like romantic things a little bit cringy, but like there's just something about Jinshi and Mao Mao that really warms my heart, and I hope he does tell her and doesn't continue to keep things secret from her. But the fact that Yaoshan, and I can never remember his name, the big puppy dog guy that wants to be with Pyron and is rising through the ranks in order to marry her. The fact that he's also here because Jinshi knew that he was somebody that could be trusted and was loyal, because he would rather earn Pyron's hand for himself than take the money from someone else. He won't be bought, essentially. And Jinshi trusts him and knows that Mao Mao trusts him and thinks that he's a good candidate for her sister, who she values more than anything in this world. So it makes sense that he's here because, again, he's not someone that would be bought out and would betray him. So he's here acting as a guard too. Yaoshan is as well, and so is Bazin. But Yaoshan's obviously here because of his ties as the head of what is likely a noble family. And Bazin, I think, is now understanding why Mao Mao is so clueless a lot of the time, because he's like, how does she not know? And it's like, because Jinshi hasn't told her. And he's like, Oh, it all makes sense now. That's why she's so oblivious to certain things and the way that the protocol works because she doesn't know. But Jinchi is going to have to tell her. He's going to have to. But she already knows. She's putting two and two together. But I mean, that's all I want to say for this episode because, in terms of the plot, I already knew that they were going to try and assassinate Jinchi. There isn't really much to discuss there in relation, other than the fact that it's very coincidental that it happens when they're visiting Lolan's dad. But why would he do it when they come and visit him? Because that just makes it look really super fucking obvious. And I'm hoping we start to learn more about him, his association. We know that the three warriors helped the Mother Royal establish the empire, and their lands are associated with one of the warriors. So, is that also connected with why they feel that they have more right to rule? I'm not sure, but it definitely has to do with overthrowing the dynasty, overthrowing the emperor, because they're targeting Jinchi. I don't think they're solely targeting Jinchi because they have it out for him. They're obviously doing it because he's the heir. He's the only male heir. And everything that's been culminating has been to prevent the emperor from having children. The makeup powder that's been killing the babies, the scents and fragrances, the fact that very few have had children means that there's been a longer ongoing scheme to prevent the emperor from building a legacy, from building a dynasty. He only has Lingli, and that's only because of Mao Mao. Mao Mao was able to save her life, but she wasn't able to save the young prince because Li Hua never got the note because of Shin. Fucking Shin. What a bitch. But there's an ongoing underhanded tactic to prevent the emperor's concubines from having children. And not just the favorites, but also the mid ranking and low ranking concubines. There are a lot in the rear palace. Some of them should have had babies, some of them should have had children, and they haven't. We also know that there is things that they can take for abortion. So it could be that some decide that they don't want to have the emperor's children. But the fact that the consorts don't have more children implies that this has been a long undertaking, that there has been something that is preventing them from having babies, that is making it hard for them to conceive. And we know the strong fragrances and the makeup powder, all that culminates in making it harder for these women. So they're targeting Jinchi as the heir, but they're also targeting the emperor directly because they're getting rid of the only one that could take the throne from him. And they've also been targeting his unborn children as well as his young children too. So his newborn babies, they've been targeting them. They've been targeting the pregnant concubines. They've been targeting Jinshi. So this is all to overthrow the emperor's dynasty. But as to why they're overthrowing it, it can only really come down to revenge and believing that you have more authority to rule than the emperor, that you don't believe that his dynasty is one that is righteous or deserves to continue to rule. Because the one thing that I have learned when I've been doing some research into Chinese history is that the way that the empires rule isn't father to eldest son. The father could overlook the eldest son if he felt the eldest son was not fit to rule. It was basically decided on preference, which is why you also had the Mother Royal build that puzzle labyrinth where only the true ruler could see the right way, and only the true ruler with the right concubine that could see the right way would be fit to rule, because it doesn't matter where you fall in the line of succession, it's about who is deemed fit to inherit. So it doesn't have to go to the eldest son. There have been instances where emperors have decided to not give their throne to their sons at all and have given it to a nephew because they felt their nephew would be a better fit to inherit than their own children. So it's not laid out in the way that it would be in the West, where it's like firstborn son inherits, and if firstborn son dies, secondborn son, and so on and so forth. It's like linear. In Imperial China, it is based on essentially the emperor's decision as to who he believes is fit to rule. So it could be that, for example, if Gyokyu has a boy and Li Hua has a boy, and then there's also Jinshi, it could be that the emperor, even though in his eyes Jinshi is his brother, but he's not, he's his son, he could actually overlook his two sons and still prefer his younger brother to take the throne over his sons. Likewise, he could also overlook Jinshi as the oldest son if he ever learns that Jinshi is his son. He may already know that Jinshi is his son. We don't know yet. But he could overlook Jinshi as the oldest son and go with, like, for example, Li Hua's son if Li Hua has a boy and he's the youngest, because Gyokyu is further along in her pregnancy than Li Hua. But yeah, essentially the emperor can decide at will. Usually it will go to the oldest, but there have been instances where the emperors have overlooked the line of succession and gone with a nephew, have gone with a younger brother over the older brother. It causes some conflict and issues though, because obviously they believe they have the right to inherit and they've been snubbed and overlooked. So it does cause some tension, but it's a long-winded way of saying that they're very evidently challenging the emperor and his dynasty, and we'll eventually find out why. But I am looking forward to next episode and this cave, and maybe Mao Mao will feel something she's not supposed to feel because it's a very tense, heated moment between them. But maybe that'll be the moment she goes, he's not a eunuch, because there's something there. And oh no, she's gonna be one of those that's like, I'm imagining things. She's gonna be very like, is that something in your pants, or are you just happy to see me? It must be something from earlier. He's a eunuch. She's gonna gaslight herself so hard and be like, nah, I'm imagining things. There's nothing going on down there. But there very much is something going on down there, because it's Mao Mao. She won't accept what's right in front of her. She's so smart, but she just chooses to be oblivious because it's the best way to keep herself safe and protected. But I'm so excited for the next episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this react, please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment below to help boost this video into the algorithm. And until next episode, bye!